Welcome back. My mic's right. Welcome back to the Nexus Games Europe quarterfinals. And we are hopefully about to head back into game, as apparently we have the player back on and we can continue with this series. Brilliant.
Yeah, that is really good news, because I think this series could get very spicy now on Brex's Hole. It is basically a must-win for the Netherlands if they want to remain their chances in the tournament. However, it's also going to be match point potentially for Team Sweden.
Yeah, Team Sweden looking like the stronger team, we have to say, so far. But the Netherlands definitely looking like they have a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. The Netherlands have looked stronger in some of the games. Just, I would argue Sweden have looked stronger more, and at least more consistently, but they have had issues. So guys, as we catch back up to where we were in the draft, remember to vote for who you think is going to win. If you want Sweden to win, or you think Sweden will win, use the code #SEWIN in the chat. Or if you think it will be the Netherlands, use the code #NLWIN, as we are now caught up.
Okay, so this is where it all comes down to for the Netherlands. They have a very young, talented team with some really experienced Hero League Grandmasters like the Comicron and Zavalosh. However, I always get the feeling that they have a good early game, they know how to gank, they know how to set up kills, but at some point they just seem to lose their grip on the game and they give it away in the late game. What could be the reason for that?
I think it's more they just don't have like a complete understanding and base for the game. So we saw in Dragonshire, they had a terrible early game. They fell behind over a level, actually, and then came back in the late game through some fantastic team fighting. But we just saw in Tomb, they had a fantastic early game, and they were solid there, but their mid-game and late game was abysmal, actually. So they really just need to be a lot more consistent across the entirety of the games.
We were mentioning it before the break, but here is the Genji as the first pick. High priority coming in from the Netherlands, as we see a repeat coming in from Team Sweden, ETC and Chromie.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, then you don't have to fix it, apparently. That's what the Swedish team says. And I can't really blame them. I mean, ETC has been one of the most impactful and dominating heroes, warriors in the Nexus games thus far. Chromie looked pretty solid, didn't she? And I think here she can even get more value potentially, because it's so much easier for her to land good slowing sand zones.
Yeah, absolutely. Brax is probably a better map for Chromie than Tomb, at least in the context of the compositions that both teams had. Chromie wasn't that great last game. This game, much more likely to do well, I think.
Yeah. It's really cool to see that we're probably going to see a change in her abilities. I can't see another temporal loop go down, although it did do a little bit of work. I think it's more like a situational thing you can do if the opposing team doesn't have a lot of burst protection or cleanse.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think it was specifically picked because Brightwing was not there and could not come before the loop finished. I don't think it even would have been picked unless Arthur's was out of position in that situation.
We see a Nubrak coming in here for the Netherlands. We've seen how scary B-Guy can be on this. And Rhaegar, a hero with cleanse. But as with all cleanse heroes, he can't cleanse himself. The difference is, though, Dahaka has an unstoppable ability. If he is temporal looped, he can escape. Genji, not so lucky unless he decided to take X-Strike, which is potentially going to annoy Bakery if it was the case.
It would.
Right? Wait, you don't like X-Strike?
Not a fan of X-Strike. I think Dragon Blaze is too valuable, man.
I would
blame you.
There's like one situation I would say X-Strike is available, and that is if they are only have crowd control abilities and they're aiming for you. And especially if they're ones that wind up. Like even stuff like Pyroblast, you can just hit W. But something like the Temporal Loop, once again, W kind of blocks it. So X-Strike, just has to be very high crowd control abilities.
I can already see Genji use X-Strike to dodge a Hanzo stun arrow once he's in the game.
Yeah, there is a chance. And then we have the chance of the triple dragons.
Yeah.
Could be cool. Well, quadruple if you include Chromie. Do we have 5 dragons in the game?
There's a lot of dragons in Heroes of the Storm right now.
I'm trying to think who the 5th one would be.
Abathur could go for a copy.
That's the argument. We could have basically anyone being a dragon. But yeah, I guess Brightwing, there we go. We got 5 dragons. Fairy dragons count, right? Yes, they do, because I said so. As we do see the Sonya banned out, removing that very strong solo lane potential.
To me, it almost seems like the Dutch team right now, they're meditating and they're contemplating of what works best for them and what has worked best for them in the past. And right now we see the ultimate comfort picks. We see B-Guy on that Anubarak. He had an astounding performance there in the group phase. We see Zavalosh on his baby boy Rhaegar, on his most comfortable hero. And as you said, Bakery, we're probably going to see 6 again on that Genji, really trying to show everyone that he has what it takes to make the hero look good.
He definitely did not look good in the later half of that Tomb game, but one of the reasons why they were ahead in the first place was because he looked so good on the Genji and had so much pressure in the rotation and even ganking bot lane. So I'm really hoping he can have a return to form and show us why he is a scary Genji.
So, Sweden here, one of their supports is banned out. Last time this happened, they went for Greymane Uther and then picked up Karazim as their last pick. Right now, they are almost an entire mirror of their last draft, and they could still go for that.
And Uther is still valuable, definitely. It's against the Genji, it's against the Nib, it's even against the Veigar. Whether you should pick it right now, maybe not.
But the question is, if they were going for the same draft as last time, would you pick Karazim over it? No, they are changing it up at least a little, bringing out the Stukov, a lot of that AoE damage, and of course, ETC plus Stukov equals crowd control for days.
Put on a slowing stance on top of that, and you are AoE zoning for days. But I really think it's cool to see how both teams are really patient with their solo pick, with their solo laner. They're really trying to look at the opposing team first and pick something against that accordingly. None of them wants to show their solo cards early.
Netherlands, though, they have to reveal theirs now, though, as it is their final 2 picks. They must show who their solo laner will be. We have seen a noobs take solo lanes in the past.
Quite a long time ago, back when Beetle build was the good. So, probably not going to see a noob solo lane this game.
Like, you could maybe get away with it. You went for globes, but still going to be rough. You lose to everyone else is the issue.
The Netherlands do have one thing going for them in the solo lane, though. They do actually have the Genji, and Genji is a tool that is fantastic at ganking lanes.
Very true. Genji definitely that enabler to really get your solo lane snowballing. And the cool thing about Genji is as well, it normally doesn't take a long time for him to really make those ganks. So when he gets the gank going, he normally gets a reset, can use that over the wall, use the cyber agility, and he will be back in the format in no time.
So, as unfortunately, we do have a little bit of technical difficulties, so we did not see, because we did hear the sound effect with that last lock-in. Who do we think would be the last 2 picks? We still need that solo laner, like you said, and of course Genji will help the rotations. Who are we going to Theorycraft would be the Netherlands' final 2 picks?
I would recommend someone who has some sort of escape against the Genji ganks. So maybe a Dehaka, maybe a Sonya, who's very hard to kill in the first place.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you've nailed it right on the head there. I think Dehaka is the one I'd like to see, because when you pair ETC, Dehaka, and Stukov together, the amount of kill potential you can have is insane.
Stealing it away is a very good idea here. But if it's not taken, of course, either of those, whichever one's not picked, would be perfect for Sweden in the same idea, in the same frame.
All right, so what do you think of a hero like Zagara here? Do you think that's too risky against the Genji?
I think so. I think that's too risky against Genji.
Muta is very good against Genji because it's just annoying. It gives him a lot of poke damage, keeping him low. The problem is, Zagara is also made out of paper mache for anyone who is able to get into that backline. So therefore, Zagara can have serious issues against a Genji.
And if you want to speak about someone getting into the backline, it's Genji. he is in, and the reason he's so good against Zagara is because her model is huge, and her main source of escape is movement speed. With Genji is the other side, getting the movement speed from that level 1 talent, he can completely body block her and she cannot move. And while she's being body blocked, with that huge model, he hits all 3 shurikens again and again and again. It's a huge amount of damage.
So you're saying she should go on a diet?
Yeah, definitely. Zagara, definitely get on a diet.
She's a brood mother. How dare you tell her how to live her life? But yeah, Genji, very commonly known to be short for Genji in your backline, killing all of your heroes. So he is the perfect hero for dealing with someone like that Zagara. So cool to see. But Sonya and Dehaka still would work out. However, both of them can have issues against ranged solo laners.
Sonya probably not so much. Sonya's quite sustainable. She can use that E, get in there.
True.
Dehaka, kind of the same deal.
Oh,
Junkrat picked up.
Cool. So we do see Malthael, one of the strong solo laners in general, and it does make potentially the Dehaka or Sonya have a little bit of trouble, but they'll still do well in lane. That's a fine lane no matter what. The Junkrat, though, does cause chaos, because that's what he does, and he puts pressure onto that Chromie. If he can land that concussion bomb, then Chromie could be in serious trouble.
I think the main appeal of this Junkrat is the counter-engage. If ETC ever slides in, then he is going for a ride, I reckon.
Or you think it's a rocket ride?
No. I mean, he's going... yeah.
Baited me there. Do you think it would be a rocket ride, though, because this kind of comp? Even to dodge temporal loop?
Oh, maybe. I could maybe see that, but at the same time, it is a long wind-up, and it's against Stukov, it's against ETC.
And we have been seeing so many Riptires just having such great effect.
Especially against Stukov, who is very immobile as long as he channels Lurking Arm, for example. Oftentimes that will not allow it. Oh my. Okay, cool. Here's the thing. Are they going to rotate now? Are they going to send Greymane in the solo lane and get Alarak in the 4-man?
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. So Maltho is a hero who wins almost every single melee solo lane because he plays so well.
Yeah.
But he has a tough time against lanes because he can never get to them. Greymane, one of the highest damage range with kill potential with wave clear.
Yeah.
Well, that should be a very tough lane for Maltho to be in.
There's a certain comic artist that we all very much enjoy who is going to be very happy with that pick here. But like you said, the Alarak pick, turning it on its head here, turning that Malthael pick, which would have been pretty reasonable against Sonya or Dahaka, completely on its head into a much rougher lane. Both of these drafts have huge potential for punishing. As the chat is leaning towards Sweden, where are you guys leaning?
I think the Alarak poses a serious threat for all those ranged squishy heroes on the side of the Netherlands. The Genji, the Rhaegar, and of course also a hero like Junkrat. If they get caught in an Alarak combo, it could be lights out immediately. I'm going to Sweden.
Yeah. There you go, everyone. That pretty much described my thoughts exactly. I love the adaptation. Sweden, I'm sure they're very pleased with themselves right now, and I think their fans will be as well. My vote's on Sweden.
They can deserve to be. I am also going to be leaning towards Team Sweden. I have faith in the High Lord as he is finally here. As we head into game number 4, and Bakery introducing the team with the Alarak here.
On the left, it is Team Sweden with Daikon on the Greymane, Henning on Stukov, Kanuti playing the Chromie, Rask on ETC, and comboing his teammates with the Scar on the Alarak.
Whereas on the right-hand side, it is Team Netherlands with B-Guy back on his Anubarak, Zavalosh back on his Rhaegar, Six back on his Genji. The Junkrat is being played by Atmos, and in the bot lane, creating a mix-up here, it's Dark Omicron on the Malthael. For starters, there's the bomb trying to jump Scott into their backline so they can kill him there. Good move there by Atmos. They weren't able to do it. But we do see the Alarak in the solo lane.
Both teams look very comfortable. Alarak in the solo lane because they are doing a 4-man push.
Yep.
And that means that Netherlands as well doing a 4-man push. Alarak's the best defender they have.
Yep, he is in a slightly rough position, though, due to the fact that he is getting pushed in hard. And he's gone for the extra sustain. Sustaining power at level 1. Slight problem with that, though. He's not taking any damage, because if he takes damage, he's probably going to die.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he does have some kill potential here. A good combo, but sadly, just not enough to actually secure a kill. B-Guy cancelling that bow a little early, but the fort goes down.
Ball goes down, whereas bot fort will go down a little bit slower. The push speed coming in for the Netherlands is a little bit faster. Now, if Malthael had been able to delay, that would have been a perfect opportunity to rotate, but it does look like... Oh, Dark Omicron moving forward. Looks like they wanted to try and get engaged, but Sweden, too careful, able to pull back. So we're actually going to see a lane swap right now. We already see top lane so much in control that any advantage that Alarak might have been able to have, or even Greymane if he rotated up there against the Malthael, is going to be much rougher because there is now no fountain.
If I am Team Sweden, though, I am very comfortable with the situation I am in. I still think that Alarak can win that top lane. Maybe not as much as the Greymane could, but I still think he has a chance to. And with my falling, with this much kill potential, having so much space since the fort is down, I think it's a strong situation for them to be in.
Rhaegar moving up to those Hellbats, going to take control of them. As 6, I don't know if he scouted Rask, and that could be an issue. We in fact see Zavalosh moving off the point now that ETC is there. Now ETC is surrounded. He has the power slide. There's the burrow charge. Damage is being dropped, but it's too early. Junkrat does not do enough damage.
Yeah, Junkrat definitely not a hero known for his burst damage. Not even really for sustained damage. But
until level 10.
Until level 10, yeah.
Or unless he dies under you, in which case he has super burst damage, which can be the potential issue with Alarak telekinesising him into his own team.
Now 6 making a huge play here, backdooring the beacon, and then even poking the bot lane when the ETC's gone to defend it.
The silence is good. Junkrat raining down the pain with those grenades here. But we do see Sweden taking it back, and they're able to grab that tower, the one thing they missed with their initial push. As we do see Netherlands just holding it together. B-Guy is going to be back, while 6 is going to attempt to cause a distraction as they look for Scott.
We spoke about in the draft how scary this Genji is to gank. He uses the perfect geometry, actually, to line himself up, get 2 procs on that healing E, and actually survive. So well played by Alarak, but a scary situation.
Yeah, the High Lord versus the Angel of... What was he before he became the Angel of Depth Knowledge? I think it was. Might have been Wisdom. Can't remember. It's been a while since I've looked up my Diablo lore.
I think it might have been Wisdom.
Wisdom sounds about right, doesn't it? As Rask, once again, in the aggressive position. This is usually the role we'd see reserved for a Muradin, but Rask, so far, it's working out for him.
Definitely playing on the edge, though. I think it's very risky, especially when you have these heroes like a noob. Slide maybe too early and he's in trouble. Yeah,
he's going to try and delay, but now he is in trouble. Like you said, Genji dashing through. Alarak has arrived, tries the geometry and gets the double silence.
Scott performing very well on Alarak so far. Really good on this. He's seeing these plays in terms of displacing people, displacing himself that are just impressive.
He is doing a really good job. I will say, the rotations from these teams have been insane. We've gone from 1v4 in top lane to 1v1 to 2v2 to 2v4. The teams are rotating, always trying to get an advantage.
This is a high-level game of Bactis Countdown. This is exactly how the optimal game looks. Always rotating, always looking to just get that tiny, minuscule advantage that maybe allows you to take a tower, or maybe gives you some progress on a beacon.
We see Nuti able to escape thanks to the time trap there. More grenades being rained in though.
Pause comes out now. Hopefully there's no more tech issues.
Hopefully.
Obviously not the best end to the tech issues so far, but we are trying our best. Our apologies.
Very indeed we are, but also trying their best are both the teams in this game. So far, the Alarak pick working out, but the Genji pick so far, and this is very similar to the last game, looking good. It's looking solid at the moment.
6 definitely redeeming himself from that late game.
So far.
Controlling the early game, and the only reason the Netherlands are still in it, with that fantastic backdoor, the fantastic gank on top lane, even forcing Rast to almost die in the bot lane as well. He's making all of the plays for Team Netherlands.
And I'm pretty sure we are currently on 0 kills to 0. The one attempt we actually saw that might have involved a kill was that Alarak in the top lane, but once again, using that telekinesis, pushing himself, would preferably like to have gone away from Genji, but bringing Genji with him, Genji did not have enough damage to finish the job because he'd already used that Swift Strike.
Indeed.
So, right now, we're going to have a quick look at the drafts again, and the Malthael, he's gone for the solo lane build, as we would have expected here against either Greymane or the Alarak. He's gone for the extra single target damage, the die alone, and of course, that slow that we are seeing, I can't remember the name of the talent, but the slow we see on the level 7 from his Soul Rip.
I am slightly disappointed, I have to say, by the decision to send Greymane in the 4-man instead of the Alarak. Yes, it is good for pushing, but once the pushing phase ended, I would have liked to see him swap around. Exactly. Because I do really think that Greymane would destroy Malthael in that lane. Of course, Greymane is probably more susceptible to the Genji, so that's I'd imagine why we're not seeing that, but I'd like to see that risk taken.
It's the fact of Alarak is fine, Genji might be better or could be punished. It's very much a risk-reward basis, and it looks like Sweden took the safer of the two options. Alarak much better escape potential than Genji, than Greymane, who sometimes has to escape, engage with, of course, Darkfight to get a disengage roll.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at a low risk, no reward play versus a high risk, very high reward play.
Yeah.
So Sweden opted to play it safe, as is tradition actually for them this entire series.
Yeah, I would agree, actually. They haven't really put on the majority of those risky plays, other than the ETC positioning in this game. Once again, it is risky when you're against someone like an Anub. It's not so bad now. If he keeps doing that once level 10 is passed, then there's a very good chance he will get himself blown up.
Yeah, absolutely. He's playing a lot more risky than I personally do, but he's making it work. You can see he survives both times, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe B-Guy slightly off on his CC usage, which is a rare thing to say about B-Guy on a noob.
True, but once he has that Cocoon, we will see if that continues. If he goes for Cocoon, who knows? He could surprise us with a bit of a Locust Swarm. But the Cocoon, especially with the best hero for dealing with that being Stukov, I think the Silence burns through the Cocoon. So with the best hero available for dealing with it currently, probably already having the Silence down in the team fights, that might not be ideal. The Cocoon could cause a lot of problems.
Silence also a very long cooldown and very influential cooldown. You do not want to use that on a Cocoon.
Exactly. So it could be a pretty severe issue if they aren't careful here. ETC attack speed isn't so bad. Stukov is very slow. Takes him a while, and of course Greymane, he can take some attack speed buffs, which seems to be the meta for a while, but appears to have dropped potentially out of favor a little bit these days. It's on and off.
It's on and off, yeah. Greymane's a very flexible hero with his talents outside of the first 3 levels. The first 3 levels, obviously, we do normally see the cocktail build, but past that, the ultimates are sometimes changing up. Maybe not so much anymore, but still a bit. But 13 and 16 especially do change by player preference and situation.
Yeah, we don't really see Eyes in the Dark as much anymore. That's something we used to see every now and again, but it's still a decent disengage tool. But we see a lot of flexibility, even on level 20. We, on the very odd occasion nowadays, do see that Gilnean roulette every now and again, or the reset on the go for the throat. But the majority of the time, still going for that classic Hunter's Blunderbuss. Yeah,
Hunter's Blunderbuss is a fantastic talent, actually, getting so much value from attacking a structure especially, but even just a frontliner like a noob is going to splash the whole team behind him.
So guys, sorry again, but we're going to have to take you to a very short break. When we come back, we will try to get you back in to Sweden versus the Netherlands. Don't go anywhere. We'll hopefully be back quite soon.
Hold on to hope. It will not abandon you. The eternal conflict continues between the forces of good and evil. Evil will triumph over those who give in to despair. But despair cannot defeat the power of hope. Hope is the voice that will never be silent. Hope is the stream that fills the wells of courage. Hope is the light in the darkness. And in the darkness, I will be that light.
The pathetic wretches of this new realm already fear me. They should. So many souls for me to harvest. And I shall begin with theirs. This Nexus, all its power, it will be mine! Those who oppose me invite their own demise. If the two of us have learned anything fighting fools like these before, it's that when we work as one, none can stand against us. We are Shogun! We will rule the Nexus! Or destroy it!
The aftermath of the Omnic crisis affected the entire world, perhaps nowhere more drastically than in the Australian outback. Due to an attack on the Omnium's fusion core, the area was transformed into an irradiated wasteland. Survivors, like Jameson Fox, were greatly affected by the resulting radiation. Post an eviction from Junkertown and a subsequent international crime spree, the explosive-obsessed Junkrat has found himself in the Nexus. And wherever Junkrat goes, havoc and bedlam can't be far behind. Junkrat is a ranged assassin who displaces and roots enemies while dealing a ton of explosive damage. Junkrat's trait is total mayhem. Just like in Overwatch, when Junkrat is killed, he drops a series of grenades which explode and deal damage to any enemy caught in the area. His first basic ability, Frag Launcher, launches a grenade that bounces in the same direction until it ricochets off terrain or hits its target and explodes. When cast, a circle around Junkrat shows the target area where he'll fire the initial shot, and the line indicator shows the direction and distance his grenades will bounce. Frag grenades deal half damage to structures and have 4 charges that replenish all at once. Junkrat's W ability places a concussion mine at a target location. Once placed, his D key becomes the activatable ability, Detonate Mine, which triggers his mine to deal damage and knock back enemies nearby. Concussion Mine has no time limit and lasts until he chooses to trigger it or place a new mine. As you would expect, Junkrat takes no damage from being knocked away by his own mines, allowing him to make a stylish getaway. With his next ability, Steel Trap, Junkrat tosses out a giant metal-toothed trap. Once armed, it injures and roots the first enemy that strays too close. Junkrat can only have 1 active trap, and recasting destroys the old one.
Fire in the hole!
Riptire is Junkrat's first heroic ability. After Junkrat lets her rip, he controls this motorized bomb for a short period. While active, the Riptire's Q ability allows it to jump over enemies and terrain alike. Once the bomb has reached its destination, he can activate it and deal damage to enemies in the blast radius. The closer they are to ground zero, the more damage they take. The Riptire can be killed by enemies, and if you take too long to reach your targets, it will expire. Since Junkrat is vulnerable while his Riptire is out, be sure to activate it from a safe location. Unless you like to live dangerously. Junkrat's second heroic, Rocket Ride, brings the explosives in an all-new way. After taking a couple seconds to hop aboard his customized rocket, Junkrat blasts into the stratosphere. His landing location is controlled by a movable targeting cursor, and after a few seconds, Junkrat lands smack dab in the center, dealing damage, activating his Total Mayhem trait. After a short rest, Junkrat reappears no worse for wear at the Hall of Storms, and can cruise his missile back into the fight with incredible speed. Causing chaos is what Junkrat does best. Knock your enemy around, tire them out by forcing them to dodge grenades and traps. If your enemy isn't totally confused and exhausted, then you're not doing your job right. Here are a few ways you can spread the mayhem. Chattering Teeth upgrades Junkrat's steel traps, allowing them to slowly chase down enemy heroes that come within biting range. The Spread Volley talent is an activatable ability that causes the remaining charges in Junkrat's Frag Launcher to fire 3 grenades in a spread. Once you're out of grenades, the party's over, so activate it at the right time. Cannonball adds extra power to Junkrat's grenades, increasing the size of the explosions for his basic attack, Frag Launcher, and even Spread Volley. Plus, you get to fire cannonballs at people. The Nexus is a cosmic storm, violent and unpredictable. And where there's unpredictable violence, there's usually Junkrat as well.
I won! I won! What did I win?
A king has fallen. A father. A friend. A warrior. Defender of the Alliance. He was a beacon of hope. A leader without measure. A man who would never accept defeat. He was our shield against the storm. Wherever he has gone, Varian Rin will remain a hero. Always.
Welcome back, and I am afraid I'm once again going to be the bearer of bad news, but this time good news. The good news is the player got back in and we are getting ready to play. However, the bad news is it's going to be a regame and we are heading straight in to not waste any time. So we will do a quick intro this time. I will do Sweden. We have heading Skar, Daikon, Rask, and Nuti, and on the right, Bakery.
On the right, we have Atmos playing Junkrat 6 on the Genji, Zavalosh on the Veigar, Darkomicon on the Malthael, and B-Guy on his Anubis.
We are back in. So, once again, guys, sorry for the regame, but the teams are still going to play this out. Let's see if they play it any differently. The 4-man might be slightly more expected, and it looks like instead we're seeing a little bit of a 2-3 split coming in from the Netherlands here. On the other side, it's a very similar strategy. Heading straight for the towers, but they're not going to go all in until they see the Netherlands.
Both teams playing much more cautious this time around. When you show your strategy like that, you definitely have to be mindful of adaptations from the opposing team, and both are. So we're going to see a 2v1 lane in top so far. Genji hanging about up there, but Sweden taking control of this bot lane.
They have full control of this bot lane. The Genji is in fact going to ditch Malthael in that top lane, and it's going to come back down as Greymane is sent careening backwards as Genji moves in. Not going to take a sneaky route, he is just coming in to join in with the standard laning, at least for the moment.
Playing the bot lane slow so far, not much happening, not either team being aggressive. The Anubak takes a trap on the bot side, trying to pressure, but the setup from Sweden just looks a bit too safe right now.
Yep, they're playing very cautiously. You can see the Chromie trap consistently near where Chromie is, so that if Genji decided to try and go onto Chromie, then she could retreat to her trap and give herself a potential escape route, and of course the potential silence as the follow-up for it. And the fact is, they don't have to go too far forward, because Henning, the one hero who might have to in this scenario, has taken the Spine Launcher.
Now, I'm sure Nuti is very happy so far this game. He is getting stack after stack because this is a forced 4v4 lane.
Bomb explodes. Not able to turn it into a kill, at least to begin with. Dark Omicron. Immense patience in this top lane so far. Come in. Atmos continuing to siege as best as he can. There's a good ability onto Rast, but the damage dealers weren't in range.
And you can see just how far that knockback from Concussion Mine is, but as you said, so far nothing be able to happen from it. The damage dealers were just too far away.
This time, Zavaloj will be able to pick up those Hellbats without any difficulties, as we see Greymane doing a similar job. Henning and Rast forcing him off as Henning goes flying again. It's a cool ability, very cool ability for guarding these areas.
Six doing the same thing as he was last game, just pressuring the back door on that shrine. And that time Henning was ready to react, but it was close. He almost did not get there in time.
Six was thinking about going to top lane, instead once again tried to backdoor the shrine, but the immediate reaction from Henning and Rast. This is slowing the pushing potential out of the Netherlands, but with that camp, they are still very slowly, mind you, but they are still pushing up anyway.
Yeah, so both teams trading their Hellbats as is standard. Alec doesn't look to be having too tough a time, hasn't lost his ammo yet.
Good silence onto that Malthael there, a little bit of extra damage. Rast continuing to move forward. B-Guy getting shot. Greymane looking for the kill, but B-Guy with the burrow charge able to escape.
B-Guy very patient there. He knew the kill potential that the Greymane had, so he waited until he could burrow over the wall. The only place where Greymane could not follow him.
The top lane, Malthael, he's holding it together. Once again, top lane has turned into maximum passivity to make sure that neither of them get punished. And as such, Rhaegar, hasn't really felt the need to go up there. Neither has Genji.
A new bow is in though. That's the first aggressive move we see so far. It is not paid off. The Chromie combo is so close.
That could have been bad. If he'd actually knocked Daikon over that wall, there's a good chance that Anub would have died. But the fact is, Anub survived, and he will be able to port back to base. But bot lane, once again, goes over to the control of Sweden. But 20% on the Zerg progress for the Netherlands.
Well, that was the trade for B-Guy going in aggressively like that, but I don't think that's a move they can make again, Tetcher. They were right on the edge of dying.
So we see B-Guy pulling back. A good cocktail is landed to try and burst through that shield, but it just expires instead, not able to do enough. And that grenade, too much pressure for Sweden to stay around, so the concussion mine forces the retreat.
Alarak, he knows, he's almost certain that the Hellbats are being taken by Malthael, but he's too scared of the Genji. Six, playing much more commanding this time.
And an interesting move there by Malthael. He finished the camp and then immediately moved up to the beacon in case Alarak was going to attempt to take it, because Genji can grab the camp and then swift strike in, and Genji was on the way anyway. So they potentially lost like a second, maybe less, on that camp being captured, but overall they gained a lot more control.
Yeah, and this time Alarak might have a tougher time in the top lane. The ammo is actually gone, the Hellbats are still around, and this could be the wall for Malthael, which is huge for the Netherlands.
Could be. He's working his way through it, trying to pick up the damage onto those towers. Malthael, of course, his trait does not affect the towers, so it's going to take him a little bit longer than he might have liked, but he will get there eventually. We're sticking with tricky shuffles for the Junkrat here, that extra movement speed, making him harder to lock down, as you can see here.
Very standard, very standard.
Yep, that's what we usually see.
Yeah, sometimes we do see big as, but usually we do see tricky stuff.
We've seen big as one time, and as such, we have not seen it again. Chromie has her level 8, and she's still going for that temporal loop. Now, of course, Rhaegar, as B-Guy, gets wrecked. Rhaegar is the perfect target for this. Nuti gets punished in exchange. Nice.
Speaking of getting wrecked, the Junkrat combo was huge, and Genji's going out.
And Alarak died in the top lane. Dark Omicron was able to 1v1 him.
Whoa, Sweden just completely fell apart before our very eyes.
And ETC has stolen the camp? What is happening? This game's gone crazy.
Something just went crazy about this game, that's for sure. Okay, so Sweden losing 3 members across the map. 6 making a great play, but now almost going down, actually, to the Stukov ETC combo. 3v2, they cannot take the beacon.
They cannot take the beacon, however, the fort takes a lot of damage from that cap that ETC was able to steal away from Rhaegar. That is a big deal as Chromie comes up to help Alarak, and that will at least secure the beacon. And as such, currently, both are in favor of the Netherlands here.
The Chromie gank, not something you see very often, but paying off there. Of course, Sweden are flying, losing this spot right now, but they do see 2 on top, and they want to take it back.
Yep, Genji was able to grab back control on top, so once again we see a beacon trade, as we've seen time after time in this game so far.
Now, Sweden was slowly eking an XP advantage, but the Netherlands actually, they've come back off of the back of those 3 kills, and they are about to hit level 10.
We see the cocktail come out, temporal loop is dropped, Noob tries to land a stun to prevent ETC from following up, but Greymane still in position and is able to finish off that kill just in time for level 10 to be hit by both teams.
The Netherlands just a bit lacking, honestly. The Rhaegar should never have left when it was so close to level 10. And if the Rhaegar had left, the Junkrat never should have been that far.
Mosh. And it's the kill coming in. They even dropped the silence in case the Mosh expired before Genji was dead. Nicely done by Sweden.
Now, if I ask you, Tatcha, is Mosh worth for 1 kill? Almost always, you would tell me no. But in this specific situation, when this could mean getting control of both beacons and getting the Zerg wave, absolutely it is, if they can capitalize.
And that's what they're trying to do. They have control, and Noob is going to try and sneak in to prevent this from happening. ETC's on his way down, but he's going to be 2v1 if he's not careful. And
he's slide
makes
the last possible moment. He's still on the point. He does have to get off, though, because he is very scared of that cocoon.
Yeah, the cocoon will force him back. Nuti is now down here as well. Once again, a little bit of a safety time trap that he could use as an escape tool if someone wants to engage him.
The boss? Okay,
no,
he was just waiting to gank on the top lane, and Alarak is sadly not in the position he wants to be in.
Deflecting the counter-strike. Beautiful play. The double silence, though, getting them with the little pointy outfits. As we do see yet another use of that temporal loop to pick up another kill.
Temporal loop should not be getting this much value, honestly. The Veigar needs to be more synergized with the Junkrat. They are trying to counter-engage on Vash. The trap not catching Genji does catch the noob, and that should be enough to save Vash's life.
And this will actually give them a temporary control of both beacons, because Daikon did not take control of this top one, thinking someone was still here with him.
Daikon definitely a bit slow on the uptake there, but does get there after only a few percent, so not a big mistake. 2 in the top lane now.
Yeah, he's dead. Daikon taken out, but bot beacon retaken by Sweden, so this will prevent the Zerg wave from ticking up 72% for Sweden to 52% for the Netherlands.
This game got super interesting somewhere a few minutes ago, Tetsuya.
Yeah.
Since then, stuff has just not been settled at all.
So we see 6 continuing to poke Brask here, just doing a little bit of damage here and there as a noob moves forward. The flailing swipe does not affect the Riptire as a huge chunk of damage is done to Sweden, but we see a great amount of healing coming out from the Stukov and a great Ancestral onto 6 to keep him alive. ETC is delivered to the point exactly where he wants to be, but he is outnumbered. His team a little bit slow on the uptake, but there's the mosh pit coming in. The Chromie damage just off point there, but the damage from Greymane is still easily enough.
Daikon with the double V-set on go for the throat makes a huge play. Henning gets the level up. I think he survives, Tetsuya. Oh my.
If he'd moved forwards, one of those grenades would have killed him, but he moved back and was able to keep himself alive. both beacons in favor of Sweden, and they will take the first Zerg wave at 10 minutes.
10 minutes in, quite late for the first Zerg wave, but now that it's starting to come down the lane, this is a scary situation for the Netherlands to be in. It's level 13 versus 12, it's a full Zerg wave, and Maltho has not even spawned yet.
He has not even spawned, and also we are still seeing the lingering spines coming in for that Stuckup. Even without the extra radius or the extra range, it's so great. You mentioned the high cooldown. This can be a huge deal to just drop it and keep some protection for your team while you're able to micro away.
Now, I think we need to see the Netherlands. They need to hold out for 13. They need to try not to lose the keep. But the major thing is they need to not take a fight where they lose people right now. If Cleanse is forced out on the ETC or even the Netherlands, but the concussion mine's big. Counter-Strike saves him, the Riptide comes down.
Riptide really just sort of being used to clear there, not getting as much value as they would have liked. Malthael's on the way, but he's got so long for Tormented Souls. They've used all their heroics. They're beautiful engaged by the Alarak. Not enough to finish anyone off, though, as Genji moves in, poking damage, getting some good deflect value, as it's a slow and methodical move forward without heroics by Netherlands. Gets punished. Down goes Dark Omicron here, as Savalosh is also targeted, taken out. And this was really risky to take without heroics, and they're getting punished for it.
They seriously get punished for it. Oh my, the Junkrat trait is huge damage to the Alarak. The second player this tournament on Braxis Holder as well. Did not pay attention to that trait. But
it's punishing
in the end,
if you're not paying attention.
The keep goes down, and what was a 1-level lead is turned into a 2.5-level lead and potentially a boss. 6 though. He needs to not clear. He needs to not clear these just yet. And Sweden, they saw him holding out. They now show him bot lane, and 6 is more than happy to clear it up. Well played by both teams.
Well played by both teams indeed, as we do see Sweden in a significant lead, even without the Alarak. The Alarak dying is basically all that stopped them from potentially going for more there or potentially going for that boss. Instead, they are going to wait for him to respawn, which has already happened. The difference is now 16 is available for Sweden. Everyone is alive, and the Netherlands have their heroics. So if they wanted to fight, they could. It would just be really rough. Pushing it to 16 is difficult.
Now, the Netherlands have 2 options here. They can try and force the boss, and they can try and use the Genji deflect to get a kill, or they can try and play it passive and try and get 16 for the Zerg wave, because there's no way they can have it for when the beacons spawn.
You do see a good telekinesis, some damage onto Atmos, but Rhaegar continuing to drop those heals, keeping everyone topped up as the grenades continue to come in, putting some English on it, getting that extra range, so getting some more stacks of that level 4.
Sweden still in control, but there's not much on the map. They cannot justify forcing a boss that does as much damage as the Archangel, and especially against the Genji. So they're just waiting. Both teams just waiting for the objective to come up, but trapped by Sweden.
See a bit of danger. The silence was dropped, but Anub still able to tunnel out before the telekinesis was dropped. Nicely done. Once again, very safe play from Sweden. They had the talent advantage, and they still will have it for another level. But they're still not really comfortable. They're happy to set traps as opposed to trying to force something. Now they're finally going to try and put some pressure onto this bot lane.
Rask coming in from the side, tanking the towers. They want the keep. Now the beacons are spawning, so this is the cue, I think, for Sweden to go back, capture both beacons, and try and get that Zerg wave to come in before 16 is hit and ready for the Netherlands.
It's cleared by Atmos, but he's also a little bit low, may need to heal up when he finds the opportunity. In the meantime, like we said, Sweden moving up to those beacons, trying to gain control while they have the advantage.
Sweden, they still have 16, and the Netherlands, they want to do something because they know this is almost certainly a keep if they do nothing, but they are not 16 Tetcher, so what can they do?
They're in a rough position. They potentially have to try and take a fight, a disadvantage, or try and do sneaky rotations, maybe using that Genji. But if they lose a member now with the double silent combo, that is a Dark Omicron taken out. No more Malthael, who still had Tormented Souls. This is a disaster for the Netherlands.
He knew how risky it was, but he knew that he had to do something if they didn't want to just lie down and accept their fate. Riptide comes in, gets a bit of damage, but that's not impactful damage.
No.
That's going to be healed up very quickly by Stuko.
Yep, Henning heals it up, and they're already all back to full. In the meantime, though, they're trying to get the counter kill onto Scar here, but they can't do it. They can't take the risk of him counter-striking and the rest of Sweden showing up. And they do show up. 6 in trouble. Nice cyber agility to dodge the ETC, but ETC is not done yet. He wants to try and grab something.
Now, although it might have looked bad for Maltho to die, so far, it's been exactly what they needed. It's given them time, but B-Guy getting caught. Cleanse comes out. It's not enough. Loop onto Vega as well. This could be the start of the end. The Zerg Wave is about to march in. They're already going to the keep.
There's a mercenary camp in the top lane as well, clearing out the minions. The Zerg Wave begins to push in the bot. The keep's already being taken down, as is Genji. It's only Junkrat. He's just throwing concussion mines, trying to buy time. Tormented Souls is available. You can't use it if you're silenced. Big deal here. As we see the Tormented Souls, Moshpit is going on to Junkrat, which may kill Rask here if he's not careful. There we go. He does cancel it. Dark Omicron trying to delay, but with the push at the top lane, there's catapults, there's mercenaries. That is gonna be GG. And Sweden will take the game and the series with a 3-1.
Well-deserved victory for Sweden. They were the better team all along. The Netherlands, not disappointing. They performed. They showed how strong some of their players are. In Six, in B-Guy, in Zavalosh, in Dark Omicron. But sadly, Sweden just too strong.
Sweden just too strong here. Commiserations to the Netherlands. They looked really good in a lot of those games. But in the end, Sweden able to top them out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it is safe to say, though, that the Dutch fans can be proud of their team. They really gave us one hell of a tournament, even making it out of probably the hardest group they had to face in the tournament, dealing with Spain, defeating them convincingly. That's quite the achievement, and I think we can all be proud of the Netherlands. But kudos to the Swedes. They showed us clean, crisp team fights in that game, and I think we can start off with the first replay. Then we're going to take a look at, it is more of a gimmicky play, but it's cool to see it nonetheless here. We take a look at Junkrat, Atmos in the backline here in particular. B-Guy, he gets countered, doesn't have the bird charge anymore, just use it to initiate. But a cheeky concussion mine onto Knuti, and 6 seals the deal here. That was really cool. They could also go for a chase here. Diakarn is going to fall in the process. So it was a quick 2-for-1 here, just initiated by one cheeky concussion mine.
But on the top lane as well, Alec died at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's why Sweden had such a tough time, all the way through to level 14, basically, because of that play.
Exactly. So we're going to see how the shenanigans of a concussion mine can also sometimes backfire if we take a look at replay number 2. It's not all golden, you know, when Junkrat decides to cause a little bit of mayhem. So, take a look at Styx here. He gets caught in a time trap. Beautiful decision-making here, by the way. Helping out Rask with a nice mosh pit. Actually, that was not the concussion mine play. That was just a good map awareness play. Realizing you said it during the commentary, you know, they invested so many cooldowns, so many resources like the mosh pit, but they gained a lot of Zerg meter progress. I think it channeled all the way up to 80% after that. So they invested cooldowns for map progress.
Yep, very nicely done by both of these teams. This means Sweden will be moving on in the bracket. I'm trying to remember the bracket order. They will be playing the winner of France versus Hungary, if I do remember correctly, which will be our final game of the day, depending on how depending on where we fit in the Germany versus Italy game.
Definitely true, and as we can see, we're probably going to have one more replay. I'm not sure if projection has it queued up. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that. And this is actually what I was referring to earlier. The mean downsides of a concussion mine. Look at ETC. He was actually knocked onto the beacon, giving him a little bit of a mobility boost here. Keep in mind, concussion mine is now on cooldown. Atmos can't use it to interrupt the mosh pit that is capturing 2 people at the same time. It is an absolute bloodbath. And from here on, we see that Dark Omicron is trying to pressure Henning in the backline a little bit. Not enough damage coming in, though. And now he actually pops the Tormented Souls just before he's about to die. So that means the hero is going to be on Death Timer and a long cooldown on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. A slight misplay, but the thing that stood out to me, that level up actually gave...
The level up was insane.
The level up on Henning. He was going to die to that dot, but he hits the level up, he gets a fraction of HP, and that is enough to save him. It was so hype.
Well, guys, that is the end of this series. We have our first team in the semi-finals. And I will tell you now that we are going to go back to Germany versus Italy. And we will be doing that after this very short break. So do not go anywhere. We're going to get this going and keep the ball rolling. Be right back.
Terra Marines are the toughest frag magnets in the galaxy. But when they're in trouble, guess who they call? Winning a battle is more than just shooting enemy soldiers. It's about saving your own. I protect every member of my squad with my life. Sometimes I think I'm the only thing holding them together. Who am I? I'm Lieutenant Morales. I'm your man. I'm gonna need a lot of bandages.
Another round? Oh.